And now for the Q&A.
I've got a question for you from Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Chris says, I used to be a very skinny, picky eater when I was a child. I didn't start enjoying the taste of most food until I was in college. Since college, I've struggled with binge eating, exercising, and gaining weight. I'm 47 now. I don't have my first meal until around noon, and honestly, I'm not usually hungry until I start eating. Once I do start, it's very hard to stop. No matter how much I fill up, I snack and snack until dinner around 7. I'll feel sick but still want to eat. Then I go to sleep and it starts all over the next day. I run or walk 4 to 5 times a week, but it's becoming harder and harder to keep it up. I feel like I have a food addiction. I have heard you talk about food addiction on your show. Any advice on how to convince my brain or stomach that I know it's time to stop eating?
I mean, this is one of the hardest things for me because neither of those things, my brain nor my stomach, are really always directly under my control. So whether I'm, quote unquote full or not, I can still continue to eat. So I really have to be very diligent with the amount of food I have for the day. And it really started with preparing today's food yesterday so that this is all I have to eat. I'm not eating anything outside of this. So I can either do what he's talking about and eat it all just straight through, or pace it out and portion it out and eat it throughout the day when I'm truly hungry. But, and I was very diligent with not breaking that. Like if I meal prepped, I didn't eat anything else. I didn't snack on anything else. I tried to not have snackable foods around me. I would keep my food in a cooler and not mess with the refrigerator, just anything I could do to go, this is what I have today and I'm not eating anything else. I don't eat, like my job, you go to my work and there's always a truck that will make you pretty much anything you can imagine. Like, imagine one of those. When I was a kid, we called them roach coaches, but I don't know what they call them now. That's probably not appropriate. Roach coach, I can get canceled for calling it that, but that's what we call them. It's just a truck, like at a construction site. They pull up.
Yeah.
A food truck. Yeah.
Food truck.
But like now they're super fancy and they've got like Korean tacos and stuff like that. But this is just like the traditional one where you want a breakfast burrito, they'll make you that. You want a cheeseburger, they'll make you that. And at the same time, there's a table where you go and there's all kinds of like snacks laid out, candy or like a charcuterie plate or bagels. Like there's so much food at my work. And then there's a catered lunch and then sometimes a catered dinner. Like there's just so much food. So it's very hard for me to walk up to a table and grab a snack and fit whatever I'm just picking up into whatever structure I've got in my head for the day and keep it all straight. So I just make my food and bring my food with me and I can pay attention. Like, hey, if I've eaten half my food by lunchtime, that's good. But if I've gone over that, then we're in the danger zone of me getting hungry later on. So I need to slow down. I mean, that's really how I've managed it. I don't have to do that quite as much anymore, but I was very, very diligent with that for a long time.
Yeah. And I mean, I fully relate to what this person is asking because I have the same thing. Once I just sort of start snacking or doing or whatever it does, I can be at work and also have snacks available and not be hungry at all. And just kind of like, that will be good. That will taste good. This will give me some temporary moment of pleasure, or whatever. Cause sometimes eating isn't always about being hungry. It's like other stuff too, right? Like wanting some feeling of satisfaction or whatever. So I really relate to that. But everything you're saying is, yeah, that's also relatable too. And I know how, it's just that diligence. So Yeah, I get where you're coming from. And I'm just like having my own, like, yep, it's not easy. You know what I mean? It's just not.
It's not easy. And listen, I've never worked in an office, but I believe offices have a break room or a snack room, or, you know, it might not be as elaborate as we have on production sets. Um, God, they love to feed us, man. They just want us all fat. It's crazy.
It's actually crazy when you think about it. This is diverting just a bit, but what other job is there where it's like expected that there is a ton of food always there. No one has to think about their own food. It's just all provided. It's kind of crazy. Like, yes, there's offices with break rooms. I have a friend who works at an office at just corporation, and she said there's always a room with snacks. I know people that work at ad agencies where it's like 4 o'clock on a Friday, there's a cocktail cart that comes around, and like,
Cocktails at work. Wow.
yeah, literally, like, it's Friday, it's 4, and I mean, it can take a lot of discipline to stay away from that stuff if it's not on, your plan.
Yeah. I try not to eat while watching TV. I try not to eat at the movies, and I really did spend a number of years preparing all my food and only eating what I prepared. And I was very, very sure that the amount I was preparing was the amount I wanted in order to lose weight. And then in order to maintain my weight for a long time, that's how I did it. And now I'm a little bit looser, but I've maintained my weight for years now, and I feel a little bit more confident in eyeballing stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. And if anyone else has a question they would like Ethan to answer on the podcast, you can email it to us. The address is hello@americanglutton.net.